everyone, Tommy here, a self-proclaimed BMW M3 fanboy, as it's evident by this beautiful Yas Marina M3 that I've owned over the last 3 years, and I've taken you on a journey with me of me modifying it, taking it to the track, dailying it. So it's natural that those who follow me have reached out to me over the last actually couple of weeks asking me what I think about the new car that was just announced yesterday, the G80 and the G82 platform. So I've watched a lot of the videos, I've read all the press releases, and I've compiled a list of 9 things I like and 9 things I dislike about the new platform. So here we go. But before we get started, let's address the horsepower figures. The non-competition car will have 473 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, and will propel you to 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. If you opt for the competition one, you'll get 503 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, and you'll go up to 60 in 3.8 seconds. So those are very, very good figures. It's not a secret that car manufacturers are moving away from manual transmissions, but BMW is not giving up on us just yet, and this car will be available with a manual transmission, so I'm very, very happy about that. Now, there's a little caveat that I'm going to address in the second part of the video, but yes, you'll be able to buy this car with a manual transmission and rear-wheel drive. The new M3 and the M4 will be available with all-wheel drive for the first time ever. So similar to the M5 that came out a couple of years ago, this one you'll be able to buy either the all-wheel drive version or the rear-wheel drive version. If you opt for the all-wheel drive version, you have the ability to disable all-wheel drive and make it a rear-wheel drive car, which is absolutely fantastic. And one of the hidden benefits of having an all-wheel drive M3 is the fact that obviously you can use it 365 days a year. But for me, if I were to opt for this option, it's the fact that I would not have to switch to winter tires during the winter season. I could just get a set of all performance or high performance all season tires and run them 365 days a year. The seats in the new M3 and the M4 are absolutely fantastic, both the regular as well as the bucket seats. Yes, the bucket seats are a costly option and they sit you a little lower, and they offer carbon fiber backs and the ability to strap in a 5-point harness for those track days. But even the regular seats in my mind are awesome, and for the first time in a long time, BMW is bringing back the extended thigh support. So those of you with long legs, you'll be able to adjust it manually. And the fact that the actual headrest moves, so it looks like it's integrated into the seat, but you can actually adjust it up or down. So I think it's going to be a fantastic seat to sit in. It's not a secret that I do not like carbon fiber, and in the new M3 and the M4, BMW actually gives you the ability to select between gloss black trim and a carbon fiber trim. Yes, the carbon fiber trim is an option, but you have the ability to select between the two. Of course, the technology has been updated in the new car, and compared to the F80 platform, which was developed more than 9 years ago or so, it's a night and day difference. So now you have a digital cluster, you have the ability of Apple CarPlay and Android CarPlay for the first time, and all these bells and whistles, including the ability to adjust the brake force. And I think BMW really looks at the owners and the things that they modify, because the new car will sport an actual set of side skirts with built-in blades in them. So no need for anyone to add an extra set of blades underneath. This car will have integrated blades, and the side skirts look absolutely fantastic. I am very much in love with them. The very first modification that I've done to my car was to replace the tiny OEM exhaust tips with a set of larger aftermarket ones. But in the new model, BMW is giving us a set of quite large exhaust tips, so large that you can actually fit your fist in them. I think 102 millimeters. So no need to replace that part of the car when you buy it. And yes, I did hear the car start, I did hear it rev, and I've got to say, it sounds very, very similar to the S55 motor. And love it or hate it, I absolutely love the way this car sounds, especially if you upgrade the exhaust a little bit. But the new car sounds very similar to this, especially during cold start. So take a look at it. Yeah, some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's a fantastic sound. So I'm very, very excited to hear the new burbles and whatnot in the new car. And finally, BMW is still allowing you to rev the car to 7,000 RPM when in park or in neutral. So whereas other manufacturers limited to 4,000 RPM, you can still rev it up in park or neutral to 7,000 RPM and enjoy that beautiful exhaust note. Now that we talked about the positives, let's address some of the negatives. Yes, I have to address the grille, and it is large. It goes all the way down. It's frameless. It apparently gives you all the air intakes and cooling you will ever need, but I simply cannot get over it. I'm sure it'll grow on people, but every time I look at it, I kind of cringe. So I hope BMW revises it in the LCI upgrade. And as we move upwards from the grille, you would expect an M3 or an M4 to have a domed hood. Well, this one doesn't. The new hood is actually flat, but it does have these two indentations. When I first saw spy photos, I was expecting them to be functional. Well, they're not. They're just dents in the hood meant to please the eye, but they're not really functional. So I'm very disappointed about that. So I mentioned that the car will come with a manual transmission, but you will not be able to get a manual transmission with either competition or all-wheel drive. So guess what? The F80, F82, F83 competition manual is the last manual transmission competition you can get in an M3. So I'm very, very sad about that. Although 473 horsepower with a manual transmission and rear-wheel drive is not a bad thing. But if you want something special, you kind of want the competition model. So that would not sit very well with me. The car also got a little chubbier. 500 extra pounds to be exact, and to me that's absolutely staggering. So we went from 3,400 pounds approximately in this car to 3,900 pounds, and that weight I'm sure will be noticeable. Yes, you have a lot of extra horsepower now. You have the ability of getting the all-wheel drive, so yes, you'll be able to manage the extra weight. But from my personal experience, even at the track, when I lost my instructor who weighed approximately 200 pounds, the difference was staggering. So I'm very curious to see how BMW addresses the 500-pound penalty. Similar to the M2 competition, the M3 will have a massive and low-hanging muffler. While the car has a new 10.25-inch touchscreen, the actual bezel is fairly thick. I don't know why they couldn't extend this screen a little more just to give it a bit more of a premium and 2020 look. Many people talk about the fact that BMW now gives you the ability to choose the color of your calipers and match it with the color of the exterior of the car. Yes, and that's fantastic. But what they don't talk about is the fact that the actual real calipers on both the ceramic and the steel brakes are floating calipers. Yes, I'm sure they function well, but to me, they do not look very, very premium. So to me, that's a big no-no. Staggered wheel setups are absolutely fantastic, and I love the fact that my rear tires are a bit wider than the front tires. But in the new G80 and G82 M3 and the M4, you'll actually have smaller diameter of wheels. So you'll have, let's say, 19-inch wheels in the front and 20-inch wheels in the back. Yes, I'm sure it's functional and whatnot, but to me, it's not very visually pleasing. And last but not least, M Performance. When you think about M Performance over the last couple of years, it was all about actual performance, sound, and whatnot. If you take a look at the M Performance prototype that BMW revealed, it looks a bit out there, and I've got to say, with the two-tone colors, the side skirts that have these aggressive blades, the rear diffuser, as well as the exhaust that comes out through the middle, the four pipes, it kind of reminds me of a Civic Type R, which is a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if I'm getting older, but to me that's a bit over the top. Again, I'm sure people will love it, but to me it's just a bit much on something that is supposed to be a classy performance sedan. And that's it. These are my thoughts on the new BMW M3 and the M4. Listen, the car is here to stay. No matter how you feel about the nose, people will love it, and I'm sure BMW will sell every single one of them. If I were to buy one, I would go for the M3 because it's still a bit nicer looking compared to the M4. It's got those wider hips, and it's more functional if you have a family. But I'm sure we're going to start seeing a lot of these cars on the road starting early next year. And I look forward to hopefully driving one in the near future. So let me know what you thought of this list by commenting below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have any other items that you like or dislike about this car? And as always, Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.